So earlier this year, I got a random message on Instagram from a dude named Jerry from South Korea. And he was asking me to direct a video for a new K-pop group. And so I thought that this is definitely a scam. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And, I had to at least humor it. Then he sent me the choreography and it was incredible. And so that was when I knew that it was serious business. So then he asked me to write a treatment for the concept. The concept was macaroni cheese. So I wrote the craziest things I could possibly think of, totally assuming that he was going to tell me they're way too crazy. But then his words were, oh, yes, we're on the same page. And I actually want to build this huge microwave. So that flipped the tables. And now I actually started thinking he was crazy. Flash forward, we didn't build a microwave. I got in touch with Andrew, who is an amazing 3D VFX artist. And he creates environments and things like that in Blender. So we created the microwave, the freezer, the cheese boat, and the vending machine. That was like one of the first things we did. So we had mock-ups of all those things. And I had sent those over, and then we kind of kept developing the thing from there. It was broken up into 3 flights, and they were long. One of them, the longest one, was probably 10 hours, I think, 10 for 12 hours. I think a lot of people think of Korea as like if in America, at least, a lot of people think of Korea as this sort of like third world foreign place. It's not like that. It's a very rich, very clean, awesome. There's a few things I thought America could take some tips here. Like, for instance, they had the safety barrier on the subway. They had umbrellas over the crosswalk. Oh, yeah. The reserved seating for pregnant women and elderly people. Like, what a concept. They should have that here. Juice that's actually juice. Yeah, all we have here is sugar. And it's so good. Juice that's actually is just juice is so good. And it's good for you. Physically felt better after just 1 week of Korea. It's true. The K-pop industry is obviously very different than the American music industry. It's less about luck. It's more about the work. So here it's becoming more about luck to some degree. You can go viral out of nowhere for no reason, no good reason. And if you do, you can become a famous artist in America. In Korea, that's not really the case. You have to work, and you put in the work, and then you get you get put on. So kudos to those girls they work, and they're incredible. And they're happy to be there too. It's not like they're forced into it. That's also a myth. They want to be there. Now we're going on the 50 for the close-up of this. The actual girl group that is the center of the video did not speak English, but there's so many other ways to communicate without language. Skirt, skirt. Skirt, skirt. I directed them mostly by like miming. So I would like be like, like that's what you got to do. And then they would just follow me. That was a way to get through scene by scene. So pretty much every scene in the video, you could imagine me doing that off camera. And I certainly was. Luckily for me, I had translators. So, because I had Jerry.
Do you want her to turn around?
Jerry was the main contact. He actually studied at USC. So he very fluent in English. So him and I had all the conversations leading up to the shoot. So we were very thorough with how everything was going to go. I'm not a big storyboarder, but they actually asked for storyboards. And while I was on the flight over there, I was sketching up like really crude storyboards. And it was really, it was really bad. But I was sending those over, and they were a little nervous at first. We did a prep day, so I was able to go on set and kind of show them on my phone what the shots were, and it was just it's like such a relief for everybody. And we start here on her close-up, and then pull out.
Okay.
Down to them and then track back. This is where that little airplane will come in. It's just gonna be a tiny little airplane out of nowhere. Really, they were adorable and wonderful. Very well trained and very professional also, you know. It's just another level. There's a high expectation for everything. I mean, it's a pretty big set, a lot of moving parts and stuff. So when you're the star of the show in that kind of environment, it's a lot of pressure. And I think, you know, for them, this was their first time doing that. So you try to make it comfortable for them. And this is what you guys see. You know, I like to think I did a pretty good job of that. Lots of smiles, good vibes. Everything was, you know, the whole culture over there is also very cute. And it's kind of like part of the whole energy there. But cute in a very we're here to work way still. There's discipline and cuteness. Cuteness and discipline. This dude, Sonny, he was my AD that they put me with, and he spoke English, so he was sort of the in between between me and the crew, and he had the microphone.
Okay, 준비 camera and music cue.
And he was just the best energy, and it was his birthday. So they had like a happy birthday celebration for him halfway through the shoot. But my God, just the best guy. It just kept everything going, but kept everything light and fun and just full of smiles. And what's happening here? I had nobody with me from here, so I'm fully reliant on hoping that this crew is cool, you know. And that guy Sonny was the best. He was the best. It was a 22-hour shoot, and it went 22 straight hours into the morning. I think we wrapped at 5 in the morning. Yeah, we started at 7 a.m. and wrapped at 5 in the morning the next day. And it was hour 22, and normally on a crew here, people at hour 22, they'd be pretty grumpy, but nobody complained. At hour 22, everybody was still like, you know, excited, showing up for the shot. They were doing the choreography. I mean, it was one of the last shots we did was them doing the full choreography, and they just did it. They're just automatic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I was excited about it. So when you're excited about stuff, you don't get tired as easily. You stay up. The DP was this young, he was only 25, I think. And he was like a new DP, and he was just incredible. And there was a couple times where it was just like, yeah, that's exactly what it should be. And then there's a couple other times I said to him, like, you forget what I'm saying. You do go crazy, you know, and he did. He was flipping the thing around, you know. He was really, you can tell when somebody's passionately putting effort into something or not. You know, I sort of came up with this thing for floating, and it's just like the double bar. So you sit on one bar and you rest your back on another bar, and just wrap those bars in green screen. It just minimizes the surface area of what's blocking the actual green screen behind. And it also avoids wire work, which can be a huge hassle. Nobody had really done that, so I had to push that one a little bit to be like, no, trust me, I swear it will work. and they did it, and it worked. And the choreographer came up to me afterwards and was like, that was amazing. Like, I just learned from you. And that made me feel good, because this guy is one of the best choreographers, from my understanding, in all of KPop that was on this shoot. He was incredible, and everybody really respected him. You know, every take, he was on the monitor. They care really heavily about the dance aspect of the video in KPop. It's a different type of thing. It's almost arguably the most important thing is how tight the dancing looks on camera. So that was a big priority for the whole crew, and the choreographer was great. Beats Entertainment is the company that essentially hired me. I went in that office. It was just a really great vibe and good people. I just felt very welcome. The CEO of the company, super nice guy, actually made the beat for Macaroni Cheese. So he is the beat in Beats Entertainment. What was actually really cool is after we created the video concept, they used some of the visual ideas to add audio to the song, like the microwave ding. So the video influenced the audio in a few ways, and also the audio influenced the video, like the plane sound that they had at the beginning of the song. That was there from the start, and that's why I ran with this theme to have airplane transitions from scene to scene to scene. The lighting guy was amazing. The assistants to all these departments were even amazing. The guy keeping the focus, there was not one out of focus moment. What a hero. They had a whole styling team, and the styling team was awesome. Between every take, it would be cut, and then they would run in. The styling team runs in, fix the hair, yeah, and then they're out. Every take, and if there was one thing that the crew was sort of like annoyed with each other about, that's what it was, because it's like they want to keep the flow going, but the stylists want to style. But I was kind of in the middle, because styling is obviously a critically important piece of this too. So the green screen versus the props, they actually built, like Jerry wanted to build everything, because they usually build these big extravagant sets in K-pop. So the idea of doing a lot of this on green screen and creating the environments in post is pretty, they do that, but not at a 90%. Certain things were built and were props, and some of those things, the bowl, I've never seen a bowl that big. The art director, she was totally just amazing. The set with the alleyway, they built huge walls. It was a full scale alley. And when I got there on the prep day, they were still spray painting it, and they were incredible. The graffiti on the walls, the attention to detail was insane. Totally unnecessary, if you're asking me. But it's the details. It's very they care about the details. And it was a crew that cared about the details. It was a deep crew that cared about the details, and everybody cared. Everything was great. The whole kitchen set was a real build. They had that conveyor belt that actually worked. They also built out the microwave plate, so they were actually dancing on a giant microwave plate, and they were moving this stuff back and forth. One of the things that we shot actually here in America is the cheese cave. Jen, who's amazing, built the cheese cave out of actual cheese. It was real cheese, real milk. It was real. The little tricks that you can do. She blew up the balloons inside of the spray foam and then popped them so that they created like a perfect inner bubble. Yeah, like a cheese engraving. But it was a miniature set, and then we actually filled it with milk. But that cheese cave was very amazing and very smelly and very hard to clean up. But we got it done. It was an actual green block that they sat into. Yeah. And then we put tracking markers on that, and then Andrew created the actual cheese boat rendering, and then we tracked that to the green block that they were on. And then we took all that and then put it into the river of the miniature. After that, I contacted my dude Locavision, who is blowing up right now for his psychedelic style visual work. This guy's a genius with his process, and he did his thing to the cheese cave footage. So that is certified psychedelic cheese. We had about a month to turn it around. in post-production, and it was a pretty big endeavor. I mean, we had probably like 90% of the video was shot on green screen, so it had to be created fully in Blender. Tracked all of the footage. When we shot the footage, we did it with tracking markers. So I put a ton of tracking markers on the green screen, and then when Andrew gets that footage, he can then run the footage through Blender, and it tracks those markers. He's then able to take the background and put it to that movement, so it's seamless and it looks perfect. I was really blown away by how good the airplane looked. I mean, you can't even. That looks real. It does. It looks real. I think that could arguably be a set. It was never intended to be hyper realistic. It's crazy. It's a crazy cartoony idea. So it was always meant to be playful and surreal and fun, and it's not intended to be hyper real world accurate, and it never was. It's in fact supposed to not be that way. I went and climbed the tallest mountain in Seoul. So that was cool. That was a big hike. That was serious business. It hurt. Took the bullet train down to Busan, which is the south of South Korea, and did the beach there. And they have like a film festival there that was kind of cool to see. Lots of cool art everywhere. Went clubbing in Japan, and then came back. Stopped in Malaysia. Got a coconut drink. It was an awesome experience. I would do it again and again and again. Please keep bringing me to Korea.